Hi, it's Andrea with Egger Equine Therapy, and I have Frosty with me this evening. I've been getting a lot of requests to make a video on balance pads, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So balance pads are square pads just like this that you put under your horse's hooves, and they, like the word says, they help with their balance through strengthening their postural muscles and their core. And they also are really good for anxious horses and good for proprioception or body awareness. So when you start using balance pads, you're gonna want to start with just putting them under one hoof, and eventually I will show you later on. We do have two that I'm going to use tonight as an example, but you can mix and match and do them however you want. So Frosty has been using balance pads since last fall, so he is pretty used to them. But when you're starting using them with horses, don't be surprised if they walk right off of them, because they're just not used to it. And it is an odd sensation. Come here, bud. So I will start by putting them in the front feet, and we'll just start with one pad. And you'll see he's just going to stand right on that. And if they do want to walk off, that's okay. I like to not have them cross-tied or tied when I'm doing this, so that they have the option to walk off of them if they want to. And he seems to be pretty comfortable with that one pad. So he stepped off there, and that's okay. He's more interested in my videographer. So we'll put him back on that again. And a lot of times I'll just let them stand there and absorb the one pad before I put the second pad on them. But I'm going to go ahead for time's sake and just put this on right away. Okay. Now sometimes you'll notice when the horse is on the balance pads, they'll begin to sway and they'll rock back and forth, and they're just kind of figuring out their balance and those strength muscles, the proprioception. So sometimes you'll see their chest muscles tightening and quivering, or they'll really rock back and forth. And if they're doing that, because they're using those postural muscles so deeply, it's recommended not to do it more than 5 minutes at a time. If they're still standing on them and rocking back and forth for 5 minutes, then you want to step them off of them yourself. But he seems to be pretty comfortable. He's licking and chewing a little bit. And I'm just going to let him do his thing. You can also do like two in the front, then you can move them to the hind legs. You can do opposing limbs. You can stretch his hind legs while he's standing on the front. You can see he's really getting a lot of releases while he's standing on these. But they're really cool. They're just so good for strengthening those postural muscles. And like I said, if you're having an anxious horse or a horse that perhaps anxious at the trailer, do the balance pads at the trailer, and it'll just really help them to get that nervous system reset too. So also I wanted to talk about the kind of pads that I use. Now they do make pads specifically for horses that are more durable. They're designed with like a harder shell on top so that they last longer. But I will tell you, I bought these, what are they, ProSource Fit off of Amazon, and I bought them I think in November, and it's May, and they're just as good as new. So if your horse can tolerate the more soft pad like these are, I don't think there's a problem with using the ones that you can get off of other locations. But if they are ones that don't tolerate the softness of the pad, like these are pretty soft, they do make ones that are specific for horses that are harder too. So you just kind of have to play around and see what thickness and what level of give your horse is able to work with. So I hope that makes sense. It's just something to definitely add into your exercise routine, especially if your horse needs work on their postural muscles. This is a great exercise that you can do with them. And like I said, 5 minutes maximum a day is all you really want to do, because they are engaging their core and those postural muscles so much by using these. You don't really want to do much more than that in a day. So these are balance pads in a nutshell. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And as always, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't hesitate to like and subscribe for more tips and tricks on how to keep your horses healthy. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.